On to the first question. In your view, how would you define public relations?
That public relations is a communication management function. It's a function that is used by organizations to strategically manage their communication.
On to the next question. What does public relations, or rather PR, do for an organization or a company?
Public relations is in charge of the reputation of an organization. And what does that mean? It means that you brand an organization, the brand, and position it appropriately within its environment.
On to the third question. What are the differences between a company or an organization that has a public relations office or section and one that doesn't have one?
If an organization has a public relations department, it's deliberately positioning its brand. An organization fails to then position itself, appropriately in the absence of that department.
What is the everyday work of a PR practitioner?
For a PR practitioner, you have to be many things in one. Your typical day is not a one size fits all, and it's not like you'll have 2 days that are the same. What you do depends on whether you are an in-house practitioner or you are an agency or you are a consultant. Now, as a consultant, then you are likely to have a number of organizations for whom you are consulting. You are likely to be doing several things for your client. You could be doing media relations, you're doing stakeholder relations, you're doing digital strategies. Perhaps you're developing a strategy, you get.
You as a PR firm owner, what are some of the challenges that you experience?
The turnover of my staff. People who have been here, they end up being so good that I cannot afford them. The other challenge is that because of the perceptions out there on public relations, where people think you just, go and dig up things and go, people undervalue the profession and therefore usually do not pay. And I said usually, they do not pay what the service really is worth.
Another question is, PR is like art. You own it. So how do you feel when you delegate something, but then you don't feel like it has turned out as you had expected? What do you do?
Exactly. It takes time. It takes time to gel and to learn who is who can deliver what it is that you are looking for.
To my last question, where do you see this country in the next 5 years, according to according to that field?
There's a major happening that needs to be watched, and that happening is the IPRAC bill. IPRAC is the Institute of Public Relations and Communication Management Bill. That bill is supposed to turn us into a profession and under the act of the law.
Does your firm have its own public relations office?
We are too small. We are too small because
Okay.
one of the challenges that we have, because you don't have the same amount of work, it fluctuates. Your workload fluctuates. So what we have had to do is to balance the number of staff in-house on permanent employment vis-a-vis consultants. What we have attempted to do as a company is to have our own public relations strategy rather than an office.
The first question I have is, what advice would you give to someone who, let's say, wants to start a PR firm here in Kenya? Where would they start?
I would say if you're going to start a consultancy or an agency, you need to be very clear what area of the market are you going to feel. Don't just start something that everybody else is doing.
For people like us who are doing public relations, what short courses would you suggest that we do alongside in case we want to improve and be ahead of the curve?
I wish you would wander into your ACCA classes. Then, of course, make sure your writing is good.
Thank you so much, Ms. Tikolo, for the advice. Our interview has come to a close, and we're so glad that we've learned so much from you. And from this interview, we can strive to even be better peer practitioners. Kindly allow me to just pause the recording.